A single cent might seem mundane, but a 1972 US penny can open a window into fascinating twists of minting lore, especially when you realize some examples have quietly changed hands for thousands of dollars. Today's journey takes us into the nitty-gritty of that seemingly ordinary copper-coated zinc disc, revealing how a small variation or a mint's secret experiment turned it into a sought-after treasure. As we chart its story, from raw planchet to auction block, you'll see why seasoned collectors and casual inheritors alike should give their spare change a second look. Let's begin with a coin that jingled through pockets, but now commands serious attention. Back in the early 1970s, rising copper prices prompted the U.S. Mint to explore alternatives for America's humble penny. In 1972, the Mint was still striking Lincoln cents on pure copper planchets, but experimentation never truly stopped. At Philadelphia and Denver, technicians tinkered with different dies and presses to improve hub life, the process that shapes the coin's design. Most 1972 cents rolled off the presses in familiar form. Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, an olive branch flanked by oak sprigs on the reverse. Yet a handful emerged with anomalies that whispered of behind-the-scenes trials. One of the most intriguing varieties is the famed 1972 double die obverse. Instead of a crisp Lincoln visage, letters and date appear doubled, as though the die itself ghosted its own image twice. This isn't machine error in striking. Rather, it's a hubbing mishap that impressed two slightly misaligned images onto the master die. To the untrained eye, the doubling can look subtle, especially on worn coins, but under magnification, Lincoln's cheekbone and the inscription, "In God We Trust," sport unmistakable echoes. Only a small fraction of the millions minted show this feature, which instantly elevated its rarity among die collectors. Beyond double dies, sharp-eyed specialists hunt the repunched mint mark at Denver. Instead of a single crisp D, some cents display layered mint marks where the mint master inserted and then repositioned the punch. These repunched marks manifest as faint halos or ghost strikes around the primary letter. They might look like production fluff, but collectors prize them because each variant hints at a moment when manual precision gave way to human error. Prices for top-graded double dies and repunched mint marks can range from a few $100s in lower grades to well over $3,000 for coins certified MS65 or higher. Auction results illustrate just how much interest has swelled. In 2018, a particularly sharp MS66 example of the 1972 double die obverse sold for $7,200, nearly triple its estimate. 2 years later, another specimen in MS65 fetched $4,500 against an expected $2,000 to $2,500. Meanwhile, a repunched mint mark example graded MS64 broke $1,100 in a small lot sale, up from a few $100s just a decade earlier. These figures underscore not only growing demand, but also the impact of condition and certification on value. More on that in a moment. Coloration and finish play a huge role in pricing, capped with wax paper-proof survivors that boast an almost mirror-like sheen. Although 1972 proofs were struck only in San Francisco and bear the S mint mark, collectors sometimes mistake cameo-proof finishes for regular double dies or vice versa. True proofs, with their frosted devices and polished fields, command premiums well into the four-figure range when graded PR66 or above. It's worth inspecting any 1972 cent that exhibits unusually reflective surfaces or deep contrast. It might not be a double die, but it could be a proof, another rare catch from that same pivotal year. Beyond die quirks, the story of the 1972 penny touches on shifting metal economics. In mid-1973, the mint began seriously scaling back on pure copper cents, transitioning instead to copper-plated zinc. While that change didn't fully take effect until 1982, the tremors were felt as planchet shortages and quality control tightened. A handful of development strikes, coins created to test new copper-plated zinc planchets, sometimes slipped into circulation. These transitional pieces carry a distinctive orange-brown core exposure at minor rim nicks, and although they're not officially listed varieties, they've become whispered about prizes in collector circles. Collecting these experimental or error strikes isn't just about profit. Each coin embodies a moment when the mint wrestled with technology and cost pressures, capturing a snapshot of industrial challenge. Auction catalogs often pepper their descriptions with snippets from mint archives, a dusty memo proposing a new alloy blend, a technician's note worrying about die abrasion. Holding a 1972 double die feels like gripping a fragment of that dialogue, a copper witness to the negotiation between craftsmanship and efficiency. Condition drives value more than scarcity alone. A circulated double die in fair or fine condition might fetch $200 to $400. Its doubling still visible, but resting on a smooth, worn surface. Jump to extremely fine, and you're looking at $800 to $1,200, with every doubled line popping off the cherry red field. In uncirculated grades, MS63 coins often land in the $1,800 to $2,500 range, while MS66 pieces, blessed with razor-sharp details and full original luster, can break $7,000 at competitive auctions. For repunched mint marks, the scale is slightly lower. MS60 to MS62 coins hover around $300 to $500, but anything MS65 or above can cross into the low four digits. Interestingly, a handful of collectors prize blended features, a double die obverse paired with a faint repunched mint mark at Denver, or a cameo-proof finish with subtle doubling. These hybrid specimens demand top eye strain to confirm, but when authenticated by third-party graders, their combined rarity sparks heated bidding. A recent sale paired cameo-proof contrast with doubled obverse and pulled $12,000 in a weekend auction, proof that in the world of 1972 pennies, the quirkiest combinations enjoy spotlight status. Collecting the 1972 US penny is more than chasing price tags. It's about recognizing how small errors ripple into significant legacies. From subtle die doubling that transforms Abraham Lincoln's profile into a ghostly double take, to repunched mint marks whispering about human hands at work, these coins reward patience, precision, and a willingness to peer closely. If you've inherited a bag of mixed cents or hold a roll of 1972s in your pocket, give them a gentle spin under strong light. You might find that the coin you tossed yesterday carries the story and value you've been searching for. All right, shifting gears from our copper-tinted time capsule of 1972, let's turn our focus to a penny that hides its own trove of surprises beneath a familiar Lincoln Memorial design, the 1986 cent. At first glance, it looks like millions of others minted that year, but dig a little deeper and you'll discover that a handful slipped through with quirks so striking that they've earned serious collector buzz. Just like our first coin, these anomalies are born from the mint's behind-the-scenes experiments and the human moments in an otherwise automated process. So let's peel back the patina and explore why the 1986 Lincoln penny deserves a spot in your collection. In 1986, the U.S. Mint was riding the wave of copper-plated zinc, a formula first introduced in 1982 to curb rising metal costs. That meant every penny since carried a thin copper shell over a zinc core, giving them a lighter feel than their pure copper predecessors. With over 5.1 billion pennies struck across Philadelphia and Denver, the Lincoln cent was still a workhorse of American coinage. But behind the scenes, technicians were fine-tuning hub alignments and experimenting with die treatments to extend die life and improve strike quality. Most planchets emerged textbook perfect, but a few slipped through with unintended, but endlessly fascinating, variations. One of the most coveted is the 1986 double die obverse. Unlike the more dramatic doubling seen on early 1970s coins, this variety manifests as subtle but unmistakable doubling on Liberty, the date, and sometimes the motto. Under magnification, the letters appear to have been impressed twice, a ghost image hovering just off the primary design. It's the result of a misaligned hubbing operation, two partial impressions on the die rather than the usual single strike. Although exact counts are elusive, only a few hundred examples have surfaced in certified collections, making it a true hidden gem among mid-1980s issues. Collectors value these doubled dies not just for their rarity, but for the story they tell about quality control steps that almost never left the mint floor. Auction houses have seen heated bidding. In late 2023, a PCGS MS64 1986 D1 sold for $2,800, nearly quadruple its pre-sale estimate. while an MS65 specimen hammering at $5,500 underscored just how condition-sensitive these coins are. At lower grades, say EF40 to AU55, prices range from $300 to $800, still a significant multiple over face value. And if you spot one with original, vibrant red-brown luster and razor-sharp doubling, you're looking at top-tier rarity that could fetch 5 figures in the right auction house. Beyond double dies, the 1986 Denver issues harbor another subtle prize, the repunched mint mark RPM02. Here, the D looks clean to the naked eye, but under magnification you'll catch shadow-like echoes where the punch was reset. RPMs offer a window into the mint's manual mint mark application, where a slight slip of the hammer or a hesitation could leave a ghost image. RPM02 examples graded MS63 or higher often change hands in the $400 to $700 range, climbing past $1,500 when they wear deep cartwheel luster and flawless surfaces. And then there are the off-center strikes, coins whose designs missed the planchet center by a surprising margin. While any off-center Lincoln cent can be fun to find, 1986 examples offset by 10 to 15% command premiums of $50 to $150 in circulated grades. But push that displacement past 30% and you're in dramatic error territory. Collectors have snapped up bold, eye-catching 1986 pennies with epic misalignment for $1,000 to $2,000, simply because they defy expectations of uniformity. Perhaps the most charming chapter in the 1986 pennies story is the tale of the lost roll. In 2012, a small-town bank teller discovered a sealed bank strap labeled 1986 cents that had never left her vault. Inside were uncirculated specimens, each with just enough brilliant red luster to look like miniature suns. One collector, after buying the entire roll, sent 10 coins for grading and found 3 MS66 D1 varieties, an unbelievable jackpot given their scarcity. Word spread through dealer circles, and today that banker's unassuming package is referenced in forums as a modern legend of serendipitous collecting. It's not just error specialists who chase 1986 cents. Proof enthusiasts have their own story to tell. The San Francisco proof set of that year produced PR66 and PR67 coins with frosted devices and highly polished fields. When certified as cameo proofs, where the devices pop in creamy white contrast against gleaming backgrounds, they can surpass $1,200, even when the rest of the set sells for a fraction of that price. These proofs don't exhibit doubling, but their cameo contrast gives them a show-stopping presence that commands attention in any cabinet. As with any collectible, condition is king. A circulated 1986 DDO in good to fine might trade for a modest $200 to $300, its doubling still visible but softened by handling. Move into AU and low mint state grades, and values accelerate into the $800 to $1,800 range, depending on luster and strike sharpness. 4 RPM examples. MS65 coins with crisp edges and full cartwheel reflectivity can cross $2,000. And if you combine a strong cameo-proof finish with doubling, yes, a handful of error proofs exist. You're looking at the rarest overlap of features and the high roller tier of 1986 collecting. From a practical standpoint, hunting these coins in circulation has become a long odds game. You need to slog through tens of thousands of pocket change to unearth a single certified DDO. That's why many collectors turn to graded holders from PCGS, NGC, or Anax, carefully studying auction archives and dealer inventories. Veteran numismatists advise scrutinizing online listings for full-color, high-resolution images and consulting variety attribution guides before biting on a purchase. A misidentified double die or RPM can send even experienced collectors back to their albums, so expertise and patience pay dividends. The 1986 Lincoln cent reminds us that even mass-produced coins can harbor extraordinary anomalies. Each double die, repunched mint mark, or off-center marvel speaks to a fleeting moment of human imperfection and mechanical idiosyncrasy. Whether you inherit a stash of pocket change or hunt estate sales, a closer look at your 1986 pennies under magnification and proper lighting might reveal the next addition to your collection or the profit boost you've been hoping for. So keep that scope handy, trust your eye, and remember that sometimes the most unassuming coins hold the richest stories.